Space Marines is one of the most popular faction, if not the most popular faction in Warhammer, and in today's video we're going to be talking about playing as Space Marines with a melee focused twist so that when you play against your friends you can destroy them with giant chainswords. Now, the first unit inside this list is going to be the Assault Intercessor Sergeant. Now, generally what you guys are going to be equipping him with, just because it's the cheapest option out there, is going to be the plasma pistol and the chainsword. These are abundant if you are looking to purchase this kill team online. However, if you can find one with the hand flamer and then the thunder hammer, that just sounds incredibly awesome and would be really cool if you can get your hands on one of those models. But generally, you're going to be playing with the plasma pistol and chainsword. Something to keep in mind when we talk about the Intercessor Sergeant, he's going to be the only unit on your team with a plasma pistol. Guys, plasma does a ton of damage to units, and plasma deletes models on the board. So whenever you're playing around the Assault Intercessor Sergeant, make sure that he's running across the board towards something that you really want to delete off of the board. Because this is a melee based team, we're gonna fill out the rest of our team with only Assault Intercessors. Now, if you have access to an Assault Intercessor Grenadier, I would add that to the team. But generally, for everyone else, just so we spend the least amount of money, I'm just going to suggest that you just get 5 regular Assault Intercessor Warriors. And if you want, you can find some sprues of little grenades and just glue them on to an Assault Intercessor. And now you basically have an Assault Intercessor Grenadier. And if you have those little sprues with the grenades, when we take a look at the Assault Intercessor Grenadier over here, he has the same rules that all the other Assault Intercessors have. The only difference is that it says this operative is equipped with frag and crack grenades, and they do not cost any equipment points. So it's just one model that can chuck a couple grenades at some point during the game. Now, when we look at the other Assault Intercessor Warriors, which is going to be the base of our team, they have 14 wounds. We have the heavy bolt pistol with a 6-inch range, which basically means, new players, that unless an enemy is 6 inches from your model, you're not shooting at it. And they also have chain swords equipped, like every model on this team should have equipped, with 5 attacks doing 4 and 5 damage each time. One of the most important things that we have to keep in mind when we talk about this kill team is that our models have a built-in rule called Shock Assault, which essentially means that this operative can perform 2 fight actions during its activation, which can be devastating, guys. It means that I can fight twice. Keeping in mind that when we talk about the chain swords, we're doing 4 and 5 damage each time. Generally, when we're fighting models that have 7, 8 wounds, just 2 hits is going to be able to knock out these units. And when we talk about our Intercessor Warriors, our Sergeant here has 15 wounds, and the rest of the other ones will have 14 wounds. So they have plenty of wounds to take hits back so that you can deal massive amounts of melee damage. But there is one giant problem with this kill team. The problem is that we have to make it across the entire board to deal melee damage to our opponents. And not even just to do melee damage, we need to do that to shoot as well. This is a very close quarters team. So how do we get our models across the board as quickly as possible and as safely as possible? Now, what you'll find as you play this kill team is you'll quickly realize how broken this team is, because the Intercession squad has the ability to add 2 abilities to their rules. The 2 rules that we are going to add for this melee based intercessor kill team is going to be the rule rapid and going to be the rule stealthy. We'll go over stealthy first. Stealthy says each time a shooting attack is made against this operative, in the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack, before rolling your defense dice, if it is in cover, and it should always be in cover, and more than 6 inches from the active operative, you can do one of the following. Retain 1 additional dice as a successful normal save as a result of cover, or retain 1 dice as a successful critical save instead of a normal save as a result of cover. What does that mean in its most simplest terms? It's easier for you to keep your intercessors alive. They block more damage, which gives you more time for them to run up the board with maximum health. Now, the other ability we're adding is Rapid, like we said earlier. And Rapid says, while this operative is performing a normal move action, add triangle to its movement characteristic, or add 1 inch to its movement. Now, this is incredibly important, and this is the most important part of this entire video, because really good kill team players do something that I'm going to talk about right now, and because of this is most likely going to allow you to win games. Let's just imagine that every model in the game can move 6 inches across the board generally. Now, when we take a look at the rule for charging states, move the active operative following the same rules as a normal move action with the following exceptions. Move the active operative up to a distance that does not exceed the distance equal to its movement characteristic +2. Long story short, we get to charge for 9 inches while our opponents only get to charge for 8. The key is to make sure that when you place your models, you are always at least 9 inches away from your opponent's models, which means that they can't charge you, but more importantly, you can charge them. And when just a regular warrior is dealing 4 damage on a normal hit and 5 damage on a critical hit, and we get to fight twice, guys, this really matters. It really adds up. So just make sure that while you're placing your models on the board, you're always pre-measuring your opponent's distance so that they're out of charge range, but enough distance for you to get into charge range. And by making sure you're staying in conceal while you're running up the board, getting yourself into position to land some of those charges, you'll have enough health to, once you get 2 or 3 intercessors in their backfield starting to deal melee damage left and right, it quickly turns into your favor. The first 2 or 3 turns, it may feel like, oh, I'm just not doing much. Oh, there's nothing really happening here. I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm taking a lot of fire. But I'm telling you, once you get 2 or 3 dudes back there and you're able to start ripping through things with the chainswords, it's going to quickly turn in your favor. If you're playing against a kill team with many models, I would advise that you split your team up into 3 groups of 2. And if you're playing against a team with a low amount of models, 2 groups of 3. Because we only have 6 models, make sure that you're contesting the center objective and the objectives on one side of the board. Because we have a small number of models, we don't want to spread our models too thin across the board, or else we'll get caught on an island, and it's a really easy way to lose a game. I recommend that you guys watch the movement video on this channel where I go over how to move models inside the game, because if you watch that video and then build this kill team, you'll have a really good idea of exactly what you should be doing when you play this game, so that you put yourself at a really good advantage to win, because not a lot of people know those tricks. And make sure you share those tricks to your friends too, so it's a fair game, because it can really spiral out of control if you don't, alright? Always remember, guys, eat healthy, okay? Work out every single day, and most importantly, you guys gotta remember to believe in yourself, alright? Peace out, people.